everyone. It is Monday night, about 11:35 p.m. here on April 15th, and welcome into tonight's video weather discussion where we are going to have a brief update on the chances for some severe weather coming up here, especially into Tuesday and Tuesday night. Now, if you might recall, if you've been following along with the forecast over the past 24 hours, we had been expecting maybe a low isolated severe weather risk across west central and southern Illinois. That was supposed to be from this afternoon into this evening and now into tonight. Well, there were a couple of thunderstorms that did develop down there across parts of southern Illinois this afternoon and evening. However, no severe weather occurred, and we are no longer expecting any sort of severe weather across the state. Especially for you folks that we were originally thinking an isolated threat for down there across west central and southern Illinois. That threat is no longer going to exist for tonight. However, we are still monitoring the likelihood for a severe weather threat across much of the state here coming up for your Tuesday and Tuesday night, potentially even into the very, very early morning hours on Wednesday as well. So let's jump right into it here tonight with a look at a couple of weather forecast models here tonight. So we're going to start off here with the HRRR model here. And as we go through the overnight hours tonight, you could see here we are going to have a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity ongoing across portions of the Plain States. There was actually supposed to be a pretty big severe weather event out across the Plain States today, and that really never materialized. So out there, that severe weather event that they were expecting today, like I said, out across the Plain States, really never materialized, if you want to call it a bust or whatever you'd like to call it. But definitely severe weather threat did not work out so far as expected today or tonight across the Plain States. However, with that said here, as we go overnight tonight and eventually into the morning hours on your Tuesday, we're going to see a broken line of showers and thunderstorms that's going to enter the picture here across Iowa and Missouri. This is for right around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning here on Tuesday. And then as we go into the middle of the day and eventually into the afternoon, you're going to notice how that corridor of showers and thunderstorms is going to start to work towards the east here. So by the time we get into the early and more so the mid-afternoon hours, you can see some of that rain and thunderstorm activity is now starting to move into northwestern and western Illinois. Like I said, that's during the early to mid-afternoon time frame. And then working from the mid to the late afternoon, you can see how this big plume here of showers and thunderstorms continues to work off in generally an east-northeasterly direction here across the state of Illinois. Now, as this does so, some of this activity may be severe as it moves across the state during the afternoon and evening. And as you can see here on this particular model, some of this activity does look a little bit potent in here. So as this round of activity does shift east-northeastward across the state of Illinois here, as you can see, it's fairly widespread across the state. This is Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening. Some of this activity could hold a severe weather threat with it. And even as we push here into the Tuesday nighttime frame, you can see how this activity continues to shift off towards the northeast. And they could continue to hold a severe weather threat with it as well. Now, we are watching the potential for maybe a second round of activity to occur, but the chances of that on the weather forecast model guidance coming in tonight seems to be a little bit lower and a little less favorable than it once did. So this is the first round of activity that I showed you here. It's going to push across much of the state of Illinois during the afternoon, the evening hours on Tuesday and into early Tuesday night. But the actual cold front with this storm system is going to be lagging much further to the west. Now, that cold front is also going to be shifting off towards the east, but it is going to be behind this first round of showers and thunderstorms here. So it is possible behind this initial batch of showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening, it is possible that there could be enough clearing, destabilization, that occurs here behind that first round of activity, that we could see a second round of activity developing along portions of that cold front. And you can see this particular model here does develop a second round of activity here behind this first band of activity right along that cold front. However, you'll notice as I stair step in time here, that activity really doesn't last long. By the time it gets into pushing into portions of northwestern and western Illinois, you could see that activity really starts to weaken. And that is because there's going to be, in the wake of this, there is going to be an improving severe weather environment in terms of instability. Moisture is going to continue to be on the rise. There's still going to be a lot of shear, but a lot of times in the wake of showers and thunderstorms, you get some subsidence to occur, which is sinking air, and that tends to prevent thunderstorm and severe thunderstorm development. So even though we may see some destabilization on the backside of this round of showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening, instability may increase, destabilization may occur, moisture will continue to advect in as well, a lot of shear will still be present, and you're going to have that cold front moving in as a kind of providing some forcing for development, but the question is, will that development occur for the potential for a second round of activity in the wake of this first round of activity? And that's something we're going to continue to watch for as maybe being a possibility. It's definitely a lot of questions still in place here tonight regarding how exactly this situation is going to evolve for Tuesday. But right now, based on the newest weather model guidance that has been coming in, not only this afternoon, but this evening and now into tonight, it is looking more and more likely the main round of showers and thunderstorms will move across much of the state during the afternoon and evening hours on Tuesday and into Tuesday night, early Tuesday night as well. And it's looking more questionable as to whether or not we're going to have a second round of activity that then moves in behind that initial round of activity. And if that does happen, that second round of activity, it wouldn't be until the evening and the overnight hours as well. But if that second round does occur, it most definitely will have a severe weather potential with it as well. So with that said here, let's take a look at one of our let's take a look at our severe weather forecast here. So this is our updated severe weather forecast tonight, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, we have not changed anything from our update this morning. So this map is almost identical to our update from this morning regarding the severe weather threat for Tuesday and into Tuesday night. And as you can see here, if you're down here across southern Illinois, that blue shaded color, level 1 severe thunderstorm risk, that's where you could see an isolated severe thunderstorm risk Tuesday and Tuesday night down across southern Illinois. If you are in this big green shaded area, much of northern and central Illinois, this is the level 2 severe thunderstorm risk area. That's where widely scattered severe thunderstorms are expected. And then lastly, out here across the far northwestern tip of Illinois, through the Quad Cities area, far western Illinois, back into Missouri and Iowa, this yellow shaded area is that level 3 severe thunderstorm risk, and that is where slightly higher coverage of severe weather will be possible, more on the order of scattered severe thunderstorms. Now, in terms of threats, no matter if you're in the level 3, level 2, or level 1 severe thunderstorm risk, damaging winds and hail will be a possibility. If you are pretty much down in this vicinity here, your threat for an isolated tornado will be possible. However, if you're more up in this region here, there might be a few tornadoes. So more than isolated, there could be a few tornadoes being possible. But really, the overall threat and the modes of threat is really going to be dependent on the exact evolution of things tomorrow. If we see this initial main line of showers and thunderstorms move through during the afternoon and evening and into early Tuesday night, the threat might not be as high as it could be. However, if that first batch of activity moves through quickly enough, allowing for destabilization to occur behind it, or if that first round of activity is not as widespread or as significant, that could allow a potentially second round of activity to then develop and move across these areas as well. So like I said, there are still a lot of questions right now in regards to how exactly the evolution of things are going to work out for Tuesday and Tuesday night. But like I said, based on the newest forecast model guidance, it looks increasingly likely that we're going to have a main area of showers and thunderstorms sweep across much of the state during the afternoon, evening hours on Tuesday into early Tuesday night with some severe weather potential, and then maybe the chance for a secondary line of activity potentially to develop across Iowa, down in the northern Missouri, later afternoon and evening, and then that second round of activity, if it does develop, then would move across portions of northern and central Illinois Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. So a lot we're watching for Tuesday, a lot of questions, like I said, and we're hoping to fine-tune things, and we're hoping the weather model guidance overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, as well as the real-time observations occurring across the region tonight and into tomorrow, start to paint a clearer picture as to the scenario that will unfold for Tuesday and Tuesday night. With that said here, just getting to a couple of comments and questions here really quickly. Jennifer checking in. Looks like you're checking in from the northwestern areas of the state. Yes, there could be a tornado potential out that way. Kara checking in from the McChesney Park area up near Rockford. Yes, severe weather threat for you as well, Tuesday into early Tuesday night. Melissa checking in from the Moline area. Yeah, you'll be picking up some rainfall, but as is always the case this time of year, rainfall is very hit or miss. Some areas will pick up more, other areas will pick up less, but many areas should pick up, a quarter of an inch or more of rainfall, especially across the northern half of the state of Illinois. See, someone checking in here from Chicago. Yes, Chicago area will also have a severe weather risk. As you can see, a level 2 risk for the Chicago metro area. That'll be, for the Chicago area, it'll generally be more so in the later half of the afternoon, the evening, and then so early Tuesday night is your time frame for then. Sherry checking in from Ottawa. Marie checking in from the Geneva area. Yes, you folks are all going to be dealing with a severe weather risk as well, as you can see here on the forecast graphic. Chrissy, wondering if there's any chance the storms will weaken by the time they get to Chicago. We are going to be watching for the extent as to which the severe weather threat reaches, how far east it goes, I should say. So we'll have to watch for that. But as of right now, Chicago area, we do have you in that severe weather threat. Chrissy wondering when it'll clear up, or will it clear up by the time it gets to Joliet? No, you're going to get showers and thunderstorms in a severe weather threat as we see right now on the forecast. Alyssa checking in from the McHenry County area. Yes, you are in the green, which is the level 2 risk. That essentially means you could see widely scattered severe thunderstorms capable of producing damaging winds, hail, maybe an isolated tornado threat up there as well. Danielle checking in from the Quincy area. Yes, you're on the borderline of that level 2 and level 3 risk area. Definitely expecting showers, thunderstorms with a severe weather threat out that way. And your threat out near the Quincy area, far western Illinois, will be from midday Tuesday into Tuesday evening. Chastity checking in from Kendall County. Yes, here, as you can see on the forecast graphic, you will be in that severe weather threat as well. That'll be during the afternoon and evening hours for the Kendall County area. Jeff checking in. Yes, your Palos area, Chicago Metro. Yeah, we're going to get a lot of sun during the morning and early afternoon hours, warming temperatures up. However, with this event, the instability is actually going to be sort of behind this main round of thunderstorms that are going to be moving through. And I could actually show you that here. Just give me 1 second to pull it up here. But the instability with this is actually going to be lingering behind the line of thunderstorms just ahead of the cold front. So here we go. This is a look at the mixed layer instability here on the HRRR model. And at about this time that I'm showing you right now, the main round of showers and thunderstorms at this time, this is right around 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, that main line of showers and thunderstorms is actually ahead of the instability. So it's actually moving through these areas around 7 p.m. in the evening, where you could see out to the west here, this is your instability axis right here. So the instability actually is kind of a little bit behind that main line of showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening hours across the state. That's kind of why we're looking for maybe potentially a second round of activity to develop out here across Missouri and Iowa that would then move northeastward. But it really depends on what happens with that first main round of activity during the afternoon and evening. Will it allow a second round of activity to develop with this instability in place and a lot of moisture and shear as well, or will it not? So there's a lot, really a lot to watch for tomorrow, and really how, to see how it unfolds overall. And if it sounds like I'm talking in circles, I probably am. A little tired. All right, here. Continuing on here. Margot checking in, wondering if we see a scenario that would that would warrant an upgrade in severe weather threat level. You never want to rule it out. Right now, the forecast looks pretty good. On paper right now. Obviously, we're going to continue to monitor things through tonight and into the day tomorrow. So yes, could there be some changes? Yeah, I would not rule that out. Changes are always possible. Weather is always evolving. It's not a perfect science, as many of you know. Forecasts change at the last minute a lot of times. So definitely keep an eye to the forecast. We will be back on in the morning once again with another full update regarding things. Chris checking in here with a question. Are these first and second round going to be pop-up storms or one major storm? No. So the first round of activity, which may be the only round of activity during the afternoon and evening into early Tuesday night, this is going to be a widespread shower and thunderstorm activity. The potentially second round of activity, which may or may not develop for the late afternoon and evening, and then into the overnight maybe for Tuesday night, if that second round of activity develops, it would be more of a scattered round of activity. So the first round will be widespread. The second round, if it develops, would be more scattered. Tim here mentioning this doesn't seem to be like the severe weather outbreak in February. Not all severe weather events are the same. There are no events that are identical because obviously weather is fluid. It's always changing. Everything is always different. So it's really hard to ever compare two different severe weather events 100%. Cat checking in from the Kankakee County area. Your threat will be late Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening and early Tuesday night for your neck of the woods. All right, here, just skimming through to make sure we haven't missed any comments or questions here. And I believe we have gotten to all of them. Here's a couple more coming in right now. Mike checking in from the Iroquois County area. Timing on your area will be late afternoon, evening into the early nighttime time frame. Joanna from DuPage, yes, you're going to get that severe weather threat as well. Carmen checking in from Morgan County. Yes, you'll have that threat as well during the afternoon and also into early Tuesday night. And really the timing, I'm seeing a lot of timing questions here. The timing is pretty much going to be the same for much of the state. The timing is going to be the afternoon, evening, into the early nighttime hours on Tuesday. So it doesn't matter if you live in the Quad Cities, Chicago, or St. Louis. The timing is pretty much going to be the same for most locations. Afternoon, evening, into the early nighttime time period. And I think we have gotten to most of the questions here, at least the ones that are showing up for me here. Let me just scroll through once more here. I see Ed was checking in with a comment. How do you predict this? I see a lot of different sites have it much worse. Many folks, create their own forecast. Obviously, the National Weather Service is out there doing their own forecasts, which is also the Storm Prediction Center. We make our own forecasts here. We don't copy anybody. All of the forecasts you see us post, whether it's with these graphics, whether it's severe weather, snow, rainfall, all of these forecasts you see with our graphics, these are our own personal forecasts that we're making in-house. So they're nobody else's thoughts except our own. And there's a lot of other sources, obviously. The weather channels out there, AccuWeather, like I said, the Storm Prediction Center, the National Weather Service. So everybody has a little bit of different interpretation of what the weather forecast models are showing, but we do have access to all of the same weather forecast models. So it doesn't matter if you're watching the Weather Channel, the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, or us here at ISC, or even when Tom Skilling was on the TV, everyone has the access to the same weather forecast models. But how we determine or how we interpret the models and what kind of confidence we have in what the weather models are showing does differ, obviously, from source to source. So our interpretation of what the forecast models are showing and our confidence in what those weather forecast models are showing, for example, may differ than what the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center are seeing with those weather forecast models, or what their confidence is in those weather forecast models. Also, we take into account previous history. So what has happened in previous situations that may have been somewhat similar to this, past history, historical analogs. So we take a lot into account when we make these forecasts, and that's why everyone's forecasts that you see out there are a little bit different. Especially, comparing us to your local news stations, the Weather Channel, the National Weather Service, for example. All right, here. With that said, let's get to a couple more comments and questions that I've seen come in here. Do we anticipate Rockford moving into a level 3 risk? That question from Rebecca. At this point in time, no, but we will have one more update to this forecast tomorrow morning, so we'll see how things change overnight tonight. Wouldn't rule it out, but at this point in time, we are not expecting to do that. Carrie checking in, going to be driving around the Joliet area. Yes, severe weather risk across that area during the afternoon, evening hours as well. See someone checking in here from YouTube. Evil Girl 71 in the Quincy area. Yes, severe weather threat out across your area, Quincy, Western Illinois area during the afternoon and evening. Definitely could be a higher coverage threat of severe weather out there across Western Illinois. And that does make me think that I did want to mention here that we are live on YouTube as well. So not only do we do these videos on Facebook Live, we also do these videos on YouTube now as well. So if you prefer to watch on YouTube, you could follow us there, subscribe to us on YouTube, and you could get these same videos that we've been doing on Facebook for all of these years. They are now available on YouTube as well. Tim checking in here regarding that tornado that hit Hoffman Estates back at the end of February. You don't believe Hoffman Estates has ever seen a tornado. I believe they have. I don't believe that is the first tornado in Hoffman Estates. I could be wrong. I'd have to research that a little bit. Margot here wondering if we see an uptick in outbreak scenarios the past 5 to 10 years in Illinois. Not really. The weather sort of ebbs and flows towards a general average over time. Really haven't seen, really an uptick in outbreaks per se. Has there been a little bit of an increase in severe weather over the past, say, 10 to 20 years across the state of Illinois? Yes, that has definitely occurred. But to say we've seen an uptick in outbreaks of severe weather and tornadoes are still fairly on the more rare side. They're not rare, obviously, because we do usually see at least one a year across the United States. But definitely severe weather has increased across the region and across the state here over the past 10 to 20 years, and there is data that supports that has been occurring as well. Sophia, with a question here, is the first round of storms going to pose the same threat as the second round? The first round most definitely is going to have a severe weather threat with it, and if there is a second round, the second round, if it were to develop in the perfect conditions, could actually have a higher threat. But there's a lot of question as to whether or not that's actually going to occur. Tim wondering if the wind coming off Lake Michigan could affect the storms when they hit Chicago. We're actually going to be seeing a warmth front move northward through the day tomorrow, so really shouldn't see too much an effect of the wind off the lake in the Chicago area by the time we get to later in the day. So with that said, just a brief recap of what we have discussed here in this video, and it revolves around the severe weather threat, which is coming up for Tuesday and into Tuesday night. As you can see here, what has been on the screen for quite a while now is our severe weather forecast graphic, and as I mentioned, this is for Tuesday and Tuesday night. As you can see here, we are looking for a different quality of severe weather threat depending on where you live across the state. For example, southern Illinois, the blue shaded color, isolated risk for severe thunderstorms Tuesday and Tuesday night. The green shaded color, much of northern and central Illinois, that's the risk for widely scattered severe thunderstorms Tuesday into Tuesday night as well. So you'll notice we're increasing coverage as we go northward. So by the time we get to the yellow corridor, far western, northwestern Illinois, the Quad Cities area, your coverage becomes scattered severe thunderstorms being possible. Now, in terms of threat, no matter if you're in the level 3, level 2, or level 1 risk, we will see a threat of damaging winds and hail across all risk levels. However, regarding tornado threat, if you're out here across northwestern and western Illinois, there could be a few tornadoes possible. For the remainder of the state, much of northeastern down into central southern Illinois, this corridor, this is where an isolated tornado threat will be. So the higher tornado threat will be out across western and northwestern Illinois. The lower tornado threat will be across northeastern, east central, and southern Illinois. So once again, isolated tornado threat, this corridor, more of a few tornadoes being possible, that corridor, and that map looks like a disaster now. All right, here, Jeremy checking in from Somonauk. Your threat will be afternoon and evening. Listen, checking in from the Peoria area. Yes, you will have a severe weather threat on Tuesday as well during the afternoon and evening. See user Frappe checking in from YouTube. Will the NWS extend to level 3 severe weather threat? I don't know, but we will find out soon because the Storm Prediction Center will be updating their forecast for Tuesday and Tuesday night. That update will probably be coming out within about an hour, hour and a half from now. Amy checking in from out in the Waverly area. Let's see, Waverly. I had to look that one up. I'm not sure where that was. So Waverly is down there just not far from the Springfield area. Yes, you will have an afternoon and evening threat down around your area. Courtney, Tenley Park, yes, severe weather threat for you, especially mid-afternoon into early Tuesday night. The same goes for Amy checking in from Wheaton as well. So with that said, thank you all for tuning in here late tonight. We're now just after midnight, so we'll go ahead and wrap up this discussion here for tonight. We will be back on in the morning, tomorrow being Tuesday morning, for another full update regarding the severe weather situation here on the way for both Tuesday and into Tuesday night across the state. But until that next update in the morning, everyone have a great rest of your night.